Hey everyone, my name is FelixBHSVid, and I play the bass trombone. And I graduated from Beaconsfield High School in 2007, and yeah, just kept going. And I went to Vanier afterwards, and I did this 2-year professional music diploma. Um, and then I went to McGill and did a bachelor's there in orchestra trombone. Um, then, oh yeah, what I wanted to say about that was that when I was there, I played everything, or as much as I could. The piece of paper says orchestra, but I was playing wherever there needed to be a trombone, I was there, and especially bass trombone. Um, yeah, and then after that, I took some time off school. I lived in New York for a little bit, and I was freelancing there, and I got into some crazy projects when I was out there. That really blew my mind to see what people were doing with their instrument. That really um, gave me the sense. Well, I felt like this before, but I think it's really different when you see people doing it with your own eyes, that the instrument is your mode of expression. It's what you do, but it's also who you are. And I saw that here for sure, but when I was here, I was always in school. And then when I went to New York and was kind of out there, um, without that framework, it was, you get to see things with different eyes, and that just I thought, I said, whoa, look at that. You can really make this happen. It's kind of tricky, it's not a whole lot of stability. It's a little unpredictable, especially we're seeing with this virus. There's no concerts, so that's kind of tricky. Um, but um, what was I going to say? Yeah. So after New York, I decided I wanted to go back to school. So I went to a town in Switzerland called Basel and studied there for a little bit. I focused mainly on modern trombone playing when I was over there. And by modern, I mean contemporary music, music written today or tomorrow. And a lot of that involves working with composers. And that was something that I started doing, when I was in university. A trombone, a composer would come up to me and say, "I'm writing this piece, for orchestra that has a trombone part. Can I ask you, some questions about how high you can play, how low, how loud, how fast? Does this work? Does this not work?" And you take that kind of relationship and you keep going with it, and that kind of thing really helps you as a player also. So because of that relationship, I was able to discover a lot of uh, new pieces, that I never would have heard before. And it also, helped my imagination grow in terms of what I could do with the instrument. When you um, listen to orchestra music, the trombone kind of has this sound. It has this big, kind of warm, round, uh, kind of cutting sound, pretty loud. Um, but when you're getting into this kind of modern stuff, I liked it because it kind of took the whole thing. There's a lot of funky sounds that start with the air, that you can blow through the trombone, and then a lot of weird stuff happens. And there's a whole, for me, it was like I don't know, a color spectrum or some kind of a line that kept on getting bigger and bigger, or a circle. Um, and I loved that. I loved, the feeling that it gave me to discover this kind of stuff. So I took that and I ran with it. And that's basically what I'm doing now. Um, and I've been very lucky because the music community is pretty small to begin with compared to others, and the modern music community is even smaller than that. And so I've been very lucky that I've been able to, travel a lot, and do my own thing. Um, that was something that I realized not too recently, actually, but that I wanted to put myself out there as Felix, the trombone player, um, not just a trombone player who can play whatever you need, but also someone who has his own personality and who also expresses himself through the trombone. This is really my way of saying what I want to say, and very often I've felt that I'm a lot more honest on the trombone than I am when I'm speaking. And I know that might sound a little cliched, but it's really how I feel sometimes when everything clicks. And um, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of traveling to Europe. I met my fiance out there in Switzerland. Um, I've been to Asia a couple times to play, and uh, the times I've been to Hong Kong 3 times, and each time I was really happy because it was doing really interesting projects with small groups. It wasn't some huge organization. It was like a very small group that found me through some connections and everything, and brought me out there, and that was cool. It seems kind of different world now, flying and everything. But that was I remember being on the airplane and thinking, well, this is kind of interesting, like I'm just I play trombone, and there's lots of trombone players all over the planet, but somehow they heard something that I had done. Uh, and said, we really like what this guy's doing, and we want to invite him over to work with us. And that was very cool. That keeps you going. That's kind of like premium fuel in your gas tank. Um, and back here at home, I've been working the last couple of years for a place called Matrolab, um, which is it's kind of hard to describe, but it's basically a place where all kinds of artists can gather and make stuff together. And what I do there, my official title is artist researcher. But that basically means that, if there's a composer who comes and says, I want to write a piece for trombone and a dancer, um, I'm there, you know? Or if someone wants to build, a new piece of technology to go on, in the front of the trombone bell, I'm there. And that has been a really interesting chunk of my life. I'm still there, um, but I've been there for I think now 6 years or something, and that's been so interesting because that way of working with different disciplines, with different artists, it really puts your own thing into perspective. He's like, here's I'm obsessed with trombones. I can tell you everything about trombone and whatever. But when you got to work with a dancer or someone who makes clothing, I did a big thing with someone who made very special kind of clothing for performers. Uh, that's very I don't know. If I could do that full time for the rest of my life, sign me up. Um, so, anyways, um, that's just a little bit about what I've been doing, and yeah, I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy and making the most out of the situation. And I hope I get to see you all in person real soon. And yeah, that's it for me. Bye.